Operation Veilfire, or as like we like to call it on this channel, Crusades 2.0. Well, let's revisit this again. The elite are ushering the end of times. Everybody knows this, Mike. Nobody cares. We know this. The elite are pushing for end of times. They are pushing and pushing. Why? It's very simple, folks. And we're going to tell you again. It's because they were programmed to do so. Oh, BS, Mike. No one's programmed to do things like this. Yes, they are. And that's why they're selected. That's why they're handpicked. And that's why your vote doesn't matter and never will. Everybody gets selected into specific positions when it comes to the movement of the people, right? So, it's basically their mission in life to do this. So let's look at Operation Veilfire again. And I like to call it Crusades 2.0, right? And what's happening. Now, let's just take a little incident, right? And what's happening just in Europe with migration. Let's just look at that, okay? So this can make sense to you guys on why they are programmed to do this, right? Now, I made a bold prediction back in 2014 that English would be the second language in the UK by 2020 because of the waves of people coming in. So I don't know if that's... people are telling me, oh no, there's huge swaths of the UK where people are just not speaking English as a first language anymore. So let me know in the comments below if that prediction came true. I don't think so. Maybe by 2030, I could see English being the second language now in the UK, but let's see in the comments. Okay, so waves of people coming in, and this is what's causing this problem. Now, why are governments purposefully dividing your nation? Why? It's because they have to. They are not dividing countries like Pakistan or African nations, like Western countries or what they're doing here in the West, that were founded by Christian principles, aka the Ten Commandments, right? So now let's pretend Canada was founded under Sharia law. I wouldn't be talking to you guys right now. I probably would have never been born, right? And my parents wouldn't be allowed to immigrate here from Portugal. So it would be a completely different story if it was founded under Sharia law, right? Okay, so just like we've been talking about the wars, the sickness, the climate BS, the financial disasters, you're all being played. Just like Hamas got played. Watch that video. Taxpayers are getting played. The UK has witnessed a significant increase in migration, particularly from Muslim majority countries, while governments often cite humanitarianism. So they're going to have to try to find ways to appeal to the masses why they have to destroy your country or destroy your nation or divide your people, right? Reasons for such policies. What you're seeing with this mass migration, especially of groups unlikely to assimilate, it's part of a multi-layered strategy of controlled destabilization. It's not just about votes. People say, oh, they're going to vote a certain way, or compassion, because they could fix the elections. You know that. It's about re-engineering society. What you're seeing is, with this mass migration, especially of groups unlikely to assimilate, is part of a multi-layered strategy of control, destabilization. It's not just about votes or compassion, it's about re-engineering society. Now, dismantling national identity is a core part of Operation Veilfire. And a strong, unified national culture is hard to control. People with shared history, language, and values resist top-down changes. By diluting national identity through mass cultural influx, governments weaken collective resistance. A fractured society is easier to manipulate, right? And let's go into a Bible passage here. Mark 3:24. And if a kingdom be divided against itself, the kingdom cannot stand. Right? And what are they trying to achieve from this? A permanent emergency state. Radios will be going off. People in retail stores be hearing radios. Oh, there was another stabbing here, another stabbing, a break-in on this street. Stay off this road. If you're walking home from the grocery store, do this, do that. People will be jogging on those treadmills and listening to the radio. Oh, Wow, we only had 13 stabbings today. London celebrates with only 13 stabbings. That's the least we've had since 1989. So they'll be celebrating, wow, 13 stabbings only. We're doing better. We're getting better. They're lying to you. They're manipulating you. They're dividing you. They're normalizing this garbage, right? So more instability equals more power, civil unrest, cultural classes, and economic pressure to allow governments to invoke emergency measures, digital IDs, speech control, increased surveillance, think problem reaction solution, create chaos, then swoop in with draconian solutions. It's like the carbon tax in Canada. They put in a carbon tax illegally, then they removed it thinking that they've created this great thing for humanity when in the first place it was illegal to put on. So it goes into problem reaction solution, right? Now let's go to Isaiah 10:1-2. Woe unto them that decree the unrighteous decrees, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people. The widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. Oh yeah, everything started to tie in biblically now. We are here, folks. So, globalist economic restructuring. Okay, let's go back to that again. Global institutions, WEF, IMF, UN, aren't hiding their desire for borderless world economy. We talked about the UN Migration Pact, how Canada signed on to that. Cheap labor, migrants keep wages down, busts unions, and displaces middle-class security. It's about turning citizens into complacent economic units, divided, distracted, and dependent, and they vote liberal. So let's go back to biblical. Now, this is all tying into biblical. So James, book 5, chapter 1-4. Go to now, ye rich men, weep and hollow for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be witnessed against you. The rust upon them, right? Upon the dirty money. It's being witnessed. Behold, the hire of laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud. And we're seeing that happening full force. Now, spiritual subversion, again, war on the soul, old news here on the channel. Whether you're religious or not, there's a noticeable war on traditional morality and family structure by importing fundamentally different value systems. The spiritual foundation of the West is being deliberately shaken. This isn't just political, metaphysical, it's a war on spirituality. We covered this on Mike of the Night, war on your soul. And that ties back to Revelation 18:2-3. Babylon, the Great, is fallen and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And then we see this in the social fractures in the UK, France, Sweden, and Germany. No-go zones being discussed by mainstream and alternative medias. We're seeing religious leaders in Europe warning of rising tensions. You see the UK's chief rabbi, French Catholic bishops, and former security officials standing up to what is going on. But again, the leaders in place are selected to program to usher in these problems. So, we'll look at UN 2030 agenda and WEF Great Reset documents call for reimagining education, family structures, and global identity. And we told you they only support replacing traditional religious and family values with universal ethics. And that's a code for state-approved morality. And that's what they're pushing for, right? To take the place of God. And if you want to know where we're getting this from, that's from UN Sustainable Development Goals number 5 and 16, and WEF's 8 predictions for 2030. Now, if you guys have a minute at the end of this video, I'll leave a link to go and watch 8 predictions for 2020. We did it in 2017, though. But 8 predictions for 2020. So take a look at that, okay? And the rise of state of God, digital ID proposals tied to behavioral compliance. We talked about this many times back in 2016, 17, and 18 of digital ID and social credit scores. And finance, health, faith-based dissent is being, and domestic extremism is being documented for simply holding traditional Christian beliefs. And they're building across Canada, if you guys haven't checked lately, information centers across Canada to gather information on people. That's being, when I get more info on that, I'll let you guys know what's happening with these information centers. They're like fusion centers in the United States, but Canada is going to be building up on that. And they're going to be documenting everything you do and where you do and who you go with and who you're talking to and what you're saying. And we told you, Revelation warns of a system where allegiance is demanded not to God, but to the beast, the system of the state. And you can find all this stuff in the EU digital ID plans and UK online safety bill debates. And disinformation task forces are being put together. The elite are ushering in the end of times. It's because they are programmed to do so. They have no choice in the matter. That's why they're specifically selected. That's why they're specifically put in place. And that's why your vote never matters and never will matter. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I look really forward to reading your comments. That's just a little one here on migration into Europe. We have multiple levels we could go through, and we could tie it all biblically for you guys to start to see that we are in biblical times now. We are ushering in thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Look forward to reading them. Mike Martin's here. I have spoken.